Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Let's Play series. And boy, it's been a bit of time since we were last here, hasn't it? You guys remember the wiki project? Oh boy. I should probably get this room finished at some point. It's still got some stone walls in places. I do actually really want to get back into this project. Not to the extent we originally laid out, but I think there's definitely some cool ideas we kind of passed up on this. So in the future, it's something we'll get to, I think, but not today. Today, we're just here by coincidence, actually. I want to do the trial chamber farm again today. We kind of figured out what we want to do last time, and I found 12 trial chambers all chained together in a row. We gotta set those up today. It's gonna be a lot of work. But I also got distracted while gathering materials for that, because of course we need a lot of ice for the roads to do that. And I found a bunch of unfinished nether roads that I should probably work on as well. And we need to extend our nether road network like 300-400 blocks to the new trial chamber area before we really get working on that today. So that's kind of why we're here. I want to build some roads, and I think our nether hub kind of needs a bit of love as well, because this goes to the wiki project, this portal. That portal up there is one I use all the time now. That's our trading hall, our villager trading area. And I was going there for a pick repair, and it's like, oh, guess what? I just discovered another new thing that probably needs to be addressed. I can't just whiz through the portal anymore like we used to, because now it actually teleports you through, right? So we need to establish some new rules in our nether hub. Yeah, so these nether tunnels, they're kind of like the backbone of this series. I'm using them all the time in the background. I don't really show them too often, but when I'm running around collecting resources and stuff, I'm using these tunnels to get around our world. They're very important to the longevity of our series. Whenever an update comes out, they let us reach the new content, and they just let us get around our world nice and quick. It's twice as fast than rocketing around the ceiling. Blue ice is 80 blocks a second or something crazy, while rockets are more like 40. So that's nice, and I don't have to really think. I just hold forward to go down the tunnel. But we keep adding more and more stops, and a lot of times I don't even know where these stops go. We're adding to the complexity without really dealing with it over time here. So how about this for an idea? Let's add signs to all our portals. So this shows us where it goes, right? Wiki project mining room, or we can have a sign below to show what's beyond if we keep going straight. And did you notice that? We got stopped there. There's chains behind the signs, and we're going to always try to keep our portals to the left of the road. And that way, if we want to stop, we just hang to the left. If we want to keep going forward, we just hang to the right of the road like this. And we go beyond that to the next stop kind of thing. And we got a couple other cool features. So usually when I reach a destination, I got to hop out of the boat. I got to break the boat. Then I got to pick up the boat. I got to toss the boat somewhere or get rid of it or hold on to it or deal with the boat, right? It's kind of annoying. But now we've added in a way of automatically breaking the boat and collecting it. Let's hop out here. Goes into the hopper, and then it gets stored for use later. Basically, we just shoot a fire charge out of the ceiling here. There's a really simple circuit you can do now using the calibrated skulk sensor. Just set this to 5, and then it detects when you hop off of an entity kind of thing. And it triggers the fire charges below. It shoots down, breaks the boat. And we've also added a way of dispensing and crafting boats automatically here. As long as they don't fall back into the hopper. Yeah, so what we got here is the boat crafter. We also have a way of converting logs to planks and some storage for the logs. So if we fill this up, they'll basically never run out of boats. And we keep this at 8 to subtract from the comparator. And what that does is it only triggers the log to plank craft if this is missing at least one or more of the planks. So you see it just automatically refills it. If we just kept spamming it, it would overflow and we'd start having stuff shooting everywhere. And if it only crafted 1, it crafts it twice. That way there's 8 planks. If it only crafted 4, there wouldn't be enough for the boat and it would get stuck. So that's why we double pulse it with the observer here. One more rule we're trying to follow with this: instead of just putting down the portals sporadically like I used to, we now have a method to it. So these segments are kind of 7 blocks wide with the glass here. We're aligning it so the portal's in the center of that. That way, if we ever need to move it or get rid of it, I can just fill it in with glass again like this, and it won't be like an incorrectly sized segment in the tunnel here, and it won't look weird. Not that it matters, because it's not really for looks or anything. It's just one of those things that always bothered me. with some of our other sections. Yeah, so I'm going to try copy this over to every one of our stops. And I'm also going to get started on building a bunch of roads here. We put the soul soil down first so we can be nice and speedy as we build. It saves a bunch of time. I'm just on my way here to do a pick repair at the villager trading hall. Let's see how smooth this is now. Hop out, boat's gone, go through, perfect. Oh, that's so slick. And then I can get a boat when I return. Oh yeah, yeah, so much better. Is it my imagination, or did this basalt farm used to be faster? Like, I got huge gaps in it. Like, what's going on here? There's a feature I have been wanting in this game for like over 5 years. I mention it like every few years in my Let's Play, hoping they'd add it, and I just did it by accident. Apparently it's in the game now. I had no idea. I don't know if they added it because of me or just by coincidence. Probably coincidence, otherwise they would have done it 5 years ago when it really mattered. Now we have auto crafters and the recipe book. It's not as important, but still it's cool it's in the game now. So what I wanted was for some way similar to villager trading, how you can press spacebar to redo a trade. I wanted a way to redo crafting. So check this out. Craft something, press spacebar, it fills it in again. Oh snap. Press it again, it adds to it. I said you should be able to hold control and spacebar to do like the maximum possible. Let's see if that works. No. Aw. Or maybe I said shift and space. Shift and space works! Oh, cool. The main reason I wanted it before is because I wanted to be able to set up like big dropper machines full of items, like a different machine for each recipe in the game, and then you could just have it shoot bajillions of items at you. You go into your crafting menu here, and then you can just like shift space, and then control Q, boof, and just keep doing that over and over, and craft things in bulk. But now we have auto crafters, so it's not as big of a deal. Still, it's nice. It's nice, though. I like it. All right, I decided to throw this clip into the episode as well. This is from Future Etho, Editing Etho. I've had a few days to play around with this feature since it came out, and I absolutely love it. Oh my goodness. I use it all the time now. It's way more useful than I thought. I didn't realize like how many times you do like 2, 3, 4 crafts of the same thing in a row, just in general play of the game. But it's especially useful for like smaller crafts I found. Like if, let's say you got to turn bamboo into sticks, or especially like dyes and stuff. Like let's say I want to turn a bunch of bones into white dye. Look how simple this is now. So we do it once, boom, 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 just spam space bar. And then we got our dyes, right? Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And I found it especially useful. You don't do these too often, but anytime you have to craft something with a non-stackable item, like let's say I had to do 84 hopper minecarts the other day. You just put a stack of like hoppers in your inventory and a bunch of minecarts, and you just spam space and makes a bunch of hopper minecarts. Or here's another good example: dying shulker boxes. Normally you'd have to drag drop these, and it would be super annoying. Just spam the spacebar while holding shift. Oh, it's so nice. And you know what? While we're on the topic of ideas for this game, I'm just gonna put this one out here today. This is something I've thought about for a while. I hope Mojang sees this or hears about in some way, because I honestly think this is probably one of the biggest changes they can make to the game to improve it with the least amount of effort. And I want your guys' feedback on this too. Am I out to lunch on this, or is this not like the best thing ever? Okay, so here it is. As you know, we have a big inventory issue in this game, and I don't think it's like a one solution solves it type of thing. I think it's like they need to do a lot of different things, and they're working on that. Like that's what this whole like multiple crafting thing does. It reduces the amount of time you need to spend in your GUI here and allows us to get back to playing the game, right? So that's a great option. They've been doing things, right? Like you can swap armors just by right-clicking now. You don't have to go into your GUI to do it. There's a lot less time you're spending in your GUI with the crafting book and all that as well. All good stuff, all good stuff. Now, they could add like more inventory spots. I think that would be helpful because there's so many different blocks in the game. I saw a great idea in one of Azuma's video where he mentioned like enchanting shulker boxes. Like maybe you have a way of enchanting it so it has a filter, and then like when items go into your inventory, instead of going to the main inventory, they go into the shulker box matching that filter. And then maybe if you're building with a block, you could pull items out of the shulker box automatically to refill your stack. I think that would be great as well. As you know, every update they add new blocks to this game, and they're really like into adding variants now. Like we don't just get a new block, we get that block, plus we get stairs and slabs and walls and all that stuff, and then we get like chiseled versions, we get bricks. Like they're adding resin next, and we've already gotten resin bricks, slabs, stairs, walls, and they'll probably add more if I was to guess. So we keep getting like so many new blocks. Like it doesn't take long to notice. Like let's say I put down a stone cutter here. If I try to convert deep slate into something else, look at all these variations of that block we have. There's so many. Like almost every variation block has like 10 to 15 to 20. And it's stacking up, right? There's so many different blocks. And then you need a space for those in your storage room. You need to carry them around with you. And it's becoming this big, giant problem in the game. What if we had some way of dealing with all the variants, okay? Like, we love the variants. We don't want to get rid of them. They're great. We love the variation in building. So many times you do a building project, you come back, and you have, 3 stacks of, let's say, stairs in your inventory. You have 3 stacks of cracked deep slate, 5 chiseled deep slate, maybe 12 polished basalt you can't deal with anymore. They need a spot in your storage room. You have to carry them to your storage room, store them, and the next time you do a project, you have to carry them with you to that project in hopes of actually getting them used up there. Otherwise, you may as well just throw them away, right? So tell me this, why don't we have like a way of going the other way? So we can take this to make all the variants. I want a block that allows us to take the variants and go back to the main form. So like chiseled deep slate would become cobbled deep slate, right? Mossy cobblestone would become regular cobblestone. Stone bricks become stone again. Why can't we do this? And I asked myself, like, what is the major negative if they allowed that in the game? Like, it doesn't really make sense that you could like uncraft something, right? But what if it did make sense? Like, why wouldn't we be allowed to do this? All I can think of is it's just a point of frustration for the player at this point. I can't think of a downside of allowing it to happen. And what if I told you there's a block in the game that could easily be used for it at a cost even that seems fair? I'm talking about the blast furnace. Like, doesn't this just make sense? Like, you put like chisel tough in here, you smelt it, and it becomes regular tough again. Like, you heat it up to the point where it loses its form and it's back to its original state. Or I would want them to do this for stairs and walls because those are a 1-to-1 ratio. Most blocks that are slabs can be crafted into a chiseled version, and then you could just throw that in the furnace. So that would clean those up. And essentially what that's doing is it's allowing us to consolidate our items back into full stacks and getting rid of all the variation. So like when we build storage rooms, even if we automatically sort stuff, we need to make a slot for each item in the game. And this would be a way of allowing us to consolidate it down to one type of item again. And we would only need to store that one type of item in our storage room. So you just dump stuff off at your blast furnace array at the end of the day. That gives this another purpose as well, besides just like smelting ores faster, which is pretty much useless if you have a furnace array, a regular one, because it does the same thing. So yeah, I kind of like it. And it also makes sense that you could use this to remove the impurities out of a block. So let's take our stained glass, for example. I think all the colored stained glass should get converted back to regular glass if you put it in the blast furnace. I think terracottas, the glazed and the colored terracottas, should get converted back to regular terracotta. Also, I just want to put out a couple side ideas to this that would go along with it, just in case it gets considered. But even regardless, these should probably be addressed in the game. So we can go from cobblestone to stone by smelting, cobble deep slate to deep slate by smelting. You can't go the other way. You can't like put stone in a cutter here to get cobble, and you can't do deep slate to get cobbled deep slate. Cobbled deep slate is useful, deep slate not so much, right? And the thing is, these are two of the most abundant blocks in the game. Is it not just a point of frustration I can't turn this into cobbled deep slate? Like if I accidentally mine it with silk touch? I think it's a mistake not to allow it. So maybe this is one of those things we also add to the blast furnace, or maybe they just make it work with the stone cutter. Okay, and one more quick little side point here. If they did go through with this blast furnace change, I think they should also just rip the Band-Aid off and fix furnaces finally. Because I don't know if it's just me, I think they're done in a kind of a dumb way here. So currently the way it works is you can put anything you want into a furnace, even if it can't be smelted. That's opposite of like how a brewing stand works, where it can only accept brewing ingredients. I think furnaces also should only accept smeltable items or fuel. That thing is, though, they also did the hoppers the wrong way. So it should be, like right now, this is the item that gets smelted, and the side is for the fuel. It should be the other way around, because even if they made it so it wouldn't accept torches in the furnace here, they would get stuck in the hopper, and you couldn't get them out of it without running a hopper underneath it, right? And the furnace is in the way. So that's why you want it on the side, and very rarely you put fuel in, and you'd want to take it out, because fuel is fuel and it's just going to get used up. So if they made the change with the blast furnace, I wouldn't want them to accept like blackstone into the furnace, but it would accept all the variants of blackstone. And if it didn't accept things like torches and other non-smeltable things, what you could do is attempt to put an item into the furnace. If it doesn't go in, you pull it out below. And that way you can just put all your items through this, and it's like a built-in auto sorting for all the variants in the game that way. And you don't need to set it up at your storage room or whatever. It would just be built into the furnace. Anyways, that's kind of it. Let me know what you guys think about that. Now let's get back to what we were doing. Oh man, I forgot how long it takes to build these roads. It is a job for sure. It's one of those things I often debated about in this series. Like, should I make my nether tunnels bigger? Make them more impressive, you know? Because like when I first made these, they were impressive for the time, I think, but now it's like, pff, nice nether tunnels, Etho. You know, because the way it works out, I have 19 blocks in my pattern here. Like every 1,000 blocks of road is 19,000 blocks I need to place. If I doubled that, I could do like a 7x9 tunnel with just double the effort. So that's like 7 times the volume for twice the effort. So it's like, I might have made a mistake with that. Should I change, you know? But then I go building these things. It's like, oh yeah, this kind of stinks. There's a lot of time involved in this. And it's something I barely show in the videos. So it's like, I don't know. I'll just keep doing it the same way. All right, very good. So I ended up spending 2 to 3 days working on our nether tunnels here, updating them and extending them. And I'm very happy with what we got done, but they're not all done. Nope, there's a lot to these, but we got all the high priority stuff taken care of. I ended up redoing this section of tunnel here. We used to just have a rail line, and I had to like fly through this with rockets every time. It's always this hard choice, like, do I keep it the way it is and preserve the history, or do I update? And usually my rule is that, like, if it's kind of an annoying part of the world that I feel needs to be changed, I'll change it if it's worth the effort. And this is one of those things, like, every time we go this way, I don't want to have to fly over this section that didn't quite work like it was supposed to. But this section was here before, actually, up to here. This is all brand new here. And then it goes off to the right. And this leads on to our where we farm up our ice and stuff, our glacier area. Which I don't know if I've ever really shown you guys. I'll show you guys this. Show you how much is missing these days, just in case you're wondering where all the blue ice and stuff is coming from. Basically, we got a bunch of glaciers out here. You see all these patches are where they're missing that I've taken them away. Okay, and we also added all of this on today as well, this episode. And I showed I did that little section that goes up to the villager trading area too. But yeah, this is all brand new over here. And this goes up to our trial chamber farm, which we want to build today. So we're finally going to get started on our main project today. This is where the trial chamber stuff starts, right here. All right. Let's get to it. Yeah, so we kind of already went over our plan for our breeze farm last episode. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again this time, but I'll just give you the quick rundown of what we're doing here. So we found 12 trial chambers all in a row, all in a nice straight line pretty much. Like 544 blocks from each other. We're going to have to go through all those, clear them out, block the spawners so they don't keep spawning mobs and annoying us while we're working in the areas. I have found not to use like glass or copper grates or anything like those, because those are actually considered transparent in the game. and the spawners can see through those and keep spawning mobs. We want to block that, right? So I actually found copper trapdoors are great for this because you can just craft them in the chamber, and they block out the line of sight, but you can still see through the trapdoor texture and see what the spawner is behind it, and flip them if you want to spawn them for some reason. So that's perfect. That's what we're doing. And then we got to set up our roads. We got to set up the portals at each of the breeze spawners so that they go through to the nether side and just connect everything together. Uh-oh. Okay, we hit a bit of a snag here. I've been setting up the boat roads for our breeze farm here, between the different breeze spawners at the trial chambers. And it seems like a lot of stuff has changed in this last update with how things interact with each other. And I was trying to install a boat elevator here using the old bubble column in the corner of the honey trick. Now it actually kicks you out of the boat when you try to do this. After like going up about 15 blocks or so, it'll just eject you. The boat actually gets submerged now. And the other thing is, I don't think you used to get stuck at the top block, right? It actually gets stuck at the top block. It doesn't go higher for some reason. So this really isn't a good elevator for boats anymore. I think I'm going to have to switch to slime blocks because we got to get all the way up there. Oh, no. Okay, so boats are just really wonky in the game currently. Slime blocks don't work either. It does this most of the time, where it's like it hits a block, even though it doesn't, and it, like, stops in midair. Really unfortunate. So we don't have a reliable way of making an elevator with boats, and I might need to switch to minecarts. Unfortunately. Like, it does work sometimes, but it's not really that smooth, and I don't really want to wait till it gets fixed in the game to use this. So I think minecarts are the way to go now, which means we have to redo the one trial chamber we did already, and I might change the scope of this project. So the main disadvantage of using minecarts is they're going to be a bit slower, but they're way easier to control, a lot easier to set up roads for, and we'll be able to weave in and out of the trial chamber a bit easier with them, which has me thinking I want to also maybe not just farm breezes, maybe we want to go after skeletons as well. Like, most trial chambers have this staircase room with the skeletons, and this is so good. Like, we got 2 spawners up there, 1 over here, and that's like probably half a stack of bone blocks to a stack, if I was to guess, if we were to harvest this. And if you go through like 12 chambers, you know, that's a lot of bone blocks for nothing. So I might want to include skelly spawners in our farm and not just farm breezes. And maybe slimes. I think we will definitely skip zombies. We will skip silverfish, and spiders I don't think are going to be worth the effort. Okay, we hit another snag here, and this is a big one. I was working on the trial chambers. It was going great. Everything was going smooth, and then I ran out of obsidian. I'm spending about a stack of obsidian, a little bit more per spawner, and it works out to, like, we need a shulker box of obsidian per trial chamber, and if we're doing 12, that's a lot of obsidian. So I came here, you know, it's like, I was mining this down, it's like, this is gonna take forever. One of the things I do with these Let's Play episodes is I try not to plan too much in creative. Like, I try to have a main idea and then wing it, and that way we do encounter problems in the episode, and I kind of try to show you how I solve those. And I think it makes the series more interesting and a little different from the typical Let's Play you see on YouTube. The downside is, you know, sometimes I'll have a plan for an episode and it doesn't come true. That episode. Sometimes stuff gets in the way, right, that I don't predict. And obsidian is definitely a big issue. So I was trying to think, like, I'm not gonna mine these. It takes way too long. I value my time a little bit more than what it would take to do that, right? So do I give up on the project? No. I was thinking the fastest way to mine obsidian is with withers. Like, you can do it automatically that way. And we kind of have a wither thing set up here. This actually needs to be modified and fixed up because it doesn't work like it used to. And maybe we make a way of spawning an obsidian for the wither to break, and we kind of like got a collection thing set up already for it. I think this could work out. And it just so happens we already have the other thing we'd need for this idea to work out already built in our world here. And it hardly gets used, and how cool would it be if we actually started using this thing? We got a lava farm down here, right? We need lava to make obsidian. So every one of these buckets we collect is basically us collecting an obsidian if we can break it in our wither thing there. And we got like this auto collection system for it. It's all great. This thing actually works pretty good. We just barely use it. So let's give it a test run again. Make sure it actually works the way it used to. Nothing's changed with the updates. I think the way we do this is we fill up our inventory with buckets. And then we go for a ride here. Actually, we want our hotbar full too, I think. I gotta like start putting instructions on my farms because I always forget how they work. Like, you know, a few months later is all it takes. We just hold right click, I'm pretty sure. Then once our thing fills up, we switch to the next stack. Not like fully AFKable or anything. Oh, we took some damage there. I think it used to do that too, though. Alright, and we just go through, we flip through our stacks, and all of these are going into the shulker boxes automatically. Alright, how did we do here? Yeah, it's working still, great. Filling them up. I'm gonna unload my inventory here. Oh, this whole thing is so janky. I don't know if we ever had 5 villagers here, but we for sure had 3 at one point. And then I accidentally, when I went to trade with them, instead of right-clicking, I left-clicked, and I just happened to have my sword equipped. And that was the end of that guy. Now we're down to 2. Honestly, I'm thinking about like ripping a lot of this stuff out. This is one of the jankiest redstone jobs I've done in a long time. Like, instead of like trying to combine the 3 wires together here for the lamp display, I ran them all three separate. Didn't even put proper blocks under the redstone. You know, it's not my best work here. And there's a bunch of other things too. Like, instead of having a shulker unloader for the buckets of cod, I just have like 3 double chests I was filling up. Yeah, not the greatest. We're not doing the iron golem thing anymore, I don't think. I have a new plan on how to kill withers quickly. And it's not going to be this project. It's actually a future project I want to do. That's going to be kind of crazy. This, I think we're just going to use for getting like wither roses and obsidian. And the buckets from the buckets of cod. That's like what this farm is going to be now on. We can manually kill the withers here too if we want to, but that's not really how I want to get my stars in the future. So yeah, let's figure this out. So the wither spawns here, like at the bottom block here, and it breaks like a 3x3 area around it. So we want the obsidian, I think, like over here. Like, it's gonna eject the lava. And this shoots out water. I don't know if it's like always out though. I don't think so. So maybe we want to put water here right next to it. And or another option would be to put an observer here so we could automatically detect when the obsidian gets broken. I might just put it on a timer though. Like, we flip a lever to do it and unflip it when we're done. Same with the cod. I might just do it that way too. But yeah, we're gonna overhaul this, rip it all out. It's just easier to start fresh than trying to work around what I already built here, so it just makes more sense to me. Okay, so first up here, we couldn't just attach a shulker unloader to our dispenser with the lava buckets, because if we did that, it would poke up through the ceiling here, and it would be in range where the ender dragon would destroy it if we ever spawned it in. So we need to sink it down lower into the ground. So I just set up a little mini 3-block like dropper elevator here for the lava buckets. Very simple. So if this hopper ever runs out, it kicks it on and it pulls the stuff from down here up. Okay, until it refills again. So we did the same thing with the cod down this slice here, and then this is my unloader. So then we just hook the unloader up to the elevator. Like, this is the bottom of the elevator like we have over here. Now I want to fill it up with cod. I did one little change on my unloader here, and I don't know if it actually works. It should. Usually I put a note block in this corner. I put an observer there just because otherwise this comparator would interfere with the slice next to it. So let's see if this actually works. I'm going to put down some buckets of cod, see if it fills up our elevator. Okay, that looked fine. This is filling up. Good. So then if we start running out of cod, where can we see that? Yeah, over here. So if this runs out, let's just double check it works. Good. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So it pulled it out from down here. Good stuff. Okay. So I got the shulker unloader set up for the lava bucket as well. Some extra storage space here for the shulker boxes. And we're just going to dump them off. Make sure this works. Okay. Hit the button to get it going. Once it's going, it'll just automatically work though. as long as it doesn't run out. I did add a safety thing here. Like, if it runs out of stuff in the shulker unloader, this torch switches, and then it will disable the elevator. Otherwise, I'll just keep clicking, and it'll get annoying. Looking good. Okay, we got cod spawning in when we flip that. It'll still do it automatically as well when we hit the button here. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, we got some interference with one of the one of our things here. Oh, that's not good. Uh-oh. Why are you running in a clock? Oh, it extends and it triggers my redstone there. Yeah, there is a lot of redstone around this thing, and it happened to interfere with our controls here, so I just moved them to a different spot now. It seems to be okay. We got this all set up. I think we're good to go. So we could have 4 obsidian makers, like 1 in each corner. We're just trying it with the 1 to begin with here. We'll see how that goes. Let's try out the obsidian. And it doesn't work at all. Did he blow up my repeater? No? Oh, you're so dumb, Etho. I'm aiming at the wrong block. It's gotta be one more over. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. We can fix it on the fly here. No problem. Oh, stacked there. Okay, let's put this down. Okay, let's make an obsidian. Buckets are shooting out, the empty buckets, and they're just getting picked up by our auto collection thing. They should end up in here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Oh, I saw some full lava. We might need to slow this down. We don't want it shooting full lava buckets though, for sure. It might still be doing it. Yeah, I'm still seeing the odd one. Okay. Okay. I guess it sometimes takes them a little time to break it, doesn't it? Oh, we're still losing them. Oh my goodness. Okay. We are getting obsidian though. That's good. I'm not sure where these came from. That might have been from my previous fail. Okay, overall, pretty happy with this. I might need to slow it down a little bit more. We are getting the odd lava buckets still. Obsidian making isn't super fast, but it's not bad. Just trying to think what to do here. Like, ideally, we should be pulling out the empty buckets instead of shooting them out. Because whenever I choose an empty bucket, it's kind of just wasting that tick. I don't think we have any room under there. There's a lot of stuff there. No, check this out. We're going to move our control to right here, right? Look how slick this is. This is so good. Put this in subtract mode. This is going to be our clock. And then we're just going to run it to there. Let's get a target block. This is some fancy redstone. I feel really good when it all comes together like this. It's like a puzzle. And the final piece just fits perfect. So we do this, and then we can control how fast we want it to pulse by what we set the repeater to there. We somehow managed to sneak our item filter in underneath. And it goes right into the collection system. You can double check it doesn't mess up if it overflows here. Seems okay. All right, let's give it a try. Let's spawn in another wither here. Surely it'll work perfect. All right, you guys ready for the obsidian making? Let's give it a try. Nice. Working. You love to see it work. And now it's pulling out the empty buckets, so it should be a lot faster. And ideally, we shouldn't get any more lava buckets in here. Ah! I changed the clock again. We're going old school clock here, just the redstone torch, and it goes around a loop like this. This is the lock to shut it down. And then we got a monostable circuit here, just a dropper into hopper. And then instead of a repeater there, we now have a comparator going into the dispenser. That's really cool, isn't it? Automatic obsidian making. Never done that before. Very happy with that. Etho, you got 5 gold farms in your world. Why don't you just AFK at one of those and get all the obsidian you need from piglin bartering, right? And the reasoning is because I'm trying not to AFK in this world. Like, I don't ever want to leave my world running overnight to gather resources or anything like that. Because at that point, I'm not engaged with the game at all. We actually set a rule for this world, like we're not allowed to AFK. I want to At the very least, what I'll do is I'll have the game running on my second monitor while I'm doing something else, so I can at least see what's happening in the game. I'm engaged in some way. Because if I'm not engaged at all, and I'm just doing it to get resources, I can't fathom the logic of why don't I just spawn them in, you know? And save on electricity. You know, I'm not willing to do that, so why am I willing to AFK overnight kind of things, is what I'm thinking on that. So we don't want to AFK. And getting Obsidian that other way is a lot faster. Okay, so we're at the trial chamber. I want to show you how I'm doing our portals now. I'm actually pretty happy with this design now. What I do is I do a double portal like this. We light them. I found the spawning works pretty good with this. Like, it very rarely will fail with the double portal. And then what we do is we just surround it with glass so that the spawner can still see through the glass, but we want to block mobs from spawning outside of our trap here. So I do 2 blocks on the portal side. Gonna fill this all in. 1 block on the side here, and then 2 blocks again on this portal side. Like a 9x9 area around the spawner. And then we just take what we did here and we copy it again at the top. We leave 1 block of airspace here because, for one thing, it saves on resources, not having to fill this in. And we're dealing with skeletons and breezes, which are 2 tall mobs. So if they try to spawn where we're at, their head ends up in the glass above, and it cancels the spawn, and it tries again. But also, it's pretty handy, like if I spawn in the portal here accidentally, I can still elytra through, and the mobs can't get through that, you know? So I like that. And then my plan here, we're in one of those staircase rooms, and I think if we run a minecart across here, we can trigger the trial spawner down there, the one to the left of us here, and we also can spawn the 2 above. They should be able to see through the glass here as we pass by. And we just need to like run across once to trigger all 4. Awesome. Okay, well, we made a bunch of progress this episode, but I do think we're at the point where we got to start wrapping things up. Thought we would finish things off. I just kind of want to show you roughly how quick it'll spawn mobs. Like, this is still needing a little bit more work, but we pretty much got all the spawners set up in the minecart road here. Oh, there's some guys over here. Okay, you're not supposed to be here. Wonder how that happened. I think they went through the portal again on the other side. Yeah, I still got a few things to figure out here. But essentially the way it will work is we'll go down the minecart track. I'm just sort of starting in the middle here, just as a demonstration. But in the real thing, we're going to start at one end and go to the other end kind of thing. Okay, so like we'll have a portal here to enter. And let's go ahead and drink... Oh, that one's spawning. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and drink our ominous potion here. Just so I can kind of demonstrate how quickly it'll spawn the mobs in as we go through here. That one activated again. There's 3 breeze spawners, and I think we did 12 skeleton spawners in this trial chamber. Just passed another breeze one there, another skelly. And it's a little bit challenging figuring out how to weave the minecart through all of this, but I think we did pretty good here. Okay. Go up here. Now we're into the staircase rooms. This is where we're going to get a bunch of spawns. Then another staircase room. And then just one more skelly spawner in the hallway. And that's kind of the end there. So we made it through all the spawners. See how quickly it works here. Done? Not quite yet. Well, I thought it was fast. Is it not done yet? Come on, hurry up. Oh, there's a guy stuck in there. Why are they getting stuck in there? Yeah, it's still in ominous mode. Okay. Or did... Wait. Did one fall down? Just checking real quick here. I hear one. I think they're stuck in the portal for some reason. Yeah, why are you guys in the portal? You're supposed to go through the portal. Okay, I got a few things to figure out, apparently. Yeah, look at this. This is nuts. The amount of mobs you get from, like, one quick run through of it is crazy. Isn't that cool? Now imagine 12 chambers all set up, and you just fly through them in like less than a minute. It's gonna be really cool when it's all done, I think. Okay, how many bones and stuff did we get there? Oh, and we're gonna get keys and all that kind of stuff too. Actually, not as much as I thought we would. Is that it, really? I think a bunch must have got stuck in the portal. Oh yeah, they're all in here still. What happened? Why are you guys here? You're supposed to be on the other side. Okay, I gotta figure that out. But yeah, it's getting there. You know what I haven't talked about yet? We got bundles in the game, everybody. I'm trying to think, like, how am I gonna use bundles in this world? Of course, this is like a late game world. I have shulker boxes. Am I actually gonna need bundles for anything? I think it definitely has some benefits. And the big one I'm thinking of is, like, I'm always going to carry a bundle with me from now on for all my random stuff. Like, I like to keep ender chests on me at all times. It's nice to have a crafting table. You know, stone cutter is really important. An arrow if I want to shoot my bow. And stuff like this, right? Like, it's really handy to be able to have a bunch of this stuff. And check this out. I just tried it out. The clock works in the bundle. So if you're underground, you just look at your bundle and know what time it is. So I might be a B-dubs pretty soon. Carry a clock with me all times. Why not, right? It doesn't really take up an inventory spot anymore. It's pretty neat. So yeah, I'm going to have like my work bundle for all that kind of stuff. I was thinking about like putting a bell in and that kind of stuff, but maybe I'm getting a little too crazy. I think these here are my essentials, like flint for flint and steel, iron for flint and steel, shears. You tend to need iron all the time, changing beacons, you know, that kind of stuff. Lead for animals. Yeah, I think this is like a solid list of stuff to include. Maybe not the ominous bottles, maybe a notch apple instead, in case you need it for an emergency. I don't know. I'll play around with it a little bit. But what I'm really curious about, actually, compasses, right? Like they stack. I don't know if it's the 64. I think it's 64, right? So they would take like no space in the bundle. And do they work with lodestones? I would think they would, right? So you could almost have a GPS in a bundle, maybe. I don't know. It might be neat. Let's try this out. So what do? We right-click it. And then we right-click this one. Switch them up. Yeah, okay. And I want to try and name them real quick as well. Oh, I was going to walk to my anvil. I don't need to. I can just scroll to it. I finally found out you can scroll with the bundle. I was really disappointed with them at first, but now that I know that, I'm actually pretty happy. Test A. I do wish you could throw out the stuff like all at once, though, still, like you used to be able to, because that has a couple of applications, I think, in the game that we can't do anymore. Okay. Get our anvil back, put it in the bundle. So let's see if these work inside the bundle. Oh, it does work. It shows the name and everything. So you can have like a GPS in a bundle, like a bunch of different locations set to lodestones. And then if you need to find them, you just look at your bundle and then hover over it. It tells you what the area would be. Well, let's get on to the comment of the day, everybody. This is a good one. It says, "Hey, Etho, do you have any interest in nutrition? I know in the past you have discussed exercise and how it made you feel tons better. So I was curious if you have a careful diet or if you just eat whatever comes to mind each day." Aha. Yeah, so I'm the type of person where I hate having any strict guidelines in my life. Like, I hate schedules. I hate being told to wake up at a certain time. I hate following a diet. No, I pretty much do whatever I want to do if I'm able to. So with that in mind, though, I do generally try to avoid certain things. Not that I won't ever have them. It's just like I really try to avoid, for example, candy, sugars. You know, I don't really eat much of that stuff. I'll have chocolate every once in a while, but that's about it. I don't really. Oh yeah, like 20 years ago, I cut out juice and pop from my diet, like entirely. And I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Overall, I'm like generally very healthy, I would say. Yeah, I think it's because I've done stuff like that. I've also more recently trying to cut out alcohol almost completely. because I found out like it's just basically toxic to you. Like it makes everything in your body function worse. So unless you really want it, like why have it on a regular basis? So it's mostly like just in a social event or something I might have it. What else? I try to avoid like anything shelf stable. You know what I mean? Processed foods. I'll have chips in that every once in a while for junk food, but for the most part, I try to avoid junk food. If I'm gonna have a cookie or something or a cake, it's got to be homemade, not like something you get out of a package on the out of a box, you know. So that's kind of how I go. And in general, I find I don't really crave junk food. I crave like meat and cheese, and I eat a lot of bread. That's probably maybe my worst thing. I keep hearing how carbohydrates are bad for you, and I eat so much. Like it's a lot. And I love it. And I don't really want to cut it out of my diet. So hopefully that's not a big issue. But because I'm not eating a lot of sugar, I think it helps. Because if you have sugar and carbohydrates combined, oh boy. Like I love donuts as well, but I know it's like one of the worst things you can probably eat. So I don't really have those too often. Just special occasions kind of thing. Uh-huh. Well, thank you for the question. And I think that's where we're going to end it, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until the next one, you take care. You have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye-bye.